Well, greetings. Greetings, Eagle family. Michael Pinkston here from the campus at the Christian school at Castle Hills to all our wonderful school family. I hope each of you are having a wonderful family summer with all your family and those you love. And it's been months since we've been together. But it is my honor today to deliver a promised strategic plan for reopening the Christian school at Castle Hills in a program that we're calling Safe, Smart Schools. 12 guiding principles in this manual and 120 action steps that comprehensively will put us on the front edge of being the safest and smartest school in South Texas, maybe the galaxy. And if we weren't the safest school in South Texas, let me just say it wouldn't be from lack of effort. All the heart, the energy, the research, the best practices, and the greatest advisors. And so we're so grateful today to take this time to unpack this for you. This is a comprehensive plan for reopening school at the Christian school at Castle Hills when we return to campus in a few short weeks this fall. At the end of the presentation, we have a few families who've expressed interest in potentially wondering if we might have an online option if they have someone with a compromised immune system or another special need at home. And we will also be unpacking a Castle Hills online option at the end of this presentation. You know, these strategies and practices, protocols, and these 120 plus action steps that we're presenting in the packet that's associated with in the email that you received and this video. Let me say that they represent the very best science and best practices for maximizing our efforts to minimize the transfer of germs and viruses on campus in taking care of the most precious commodity in your universe, your kids. You know, this plan was developed with input from the Center for Disease Control, the CDC. The Department of Education's documents and advice has been hugely helpful and informative. Our ACSI accreditation body has pooled together a massive amount of great information and boiled it down and synthesized it in practical ways for schools to use. Christian schools should be at the forefront of this effort. And then the American Academy of Pediatrics, along with local and other state health officials. That same American Academy of Pediatrics has just recently made the strongest recommendation that the coming school year should start with the goal of having students physically present in school on campuses, citing extensive ongoing evidence that young children are first not as susceptible as adults to the viruses that cause COVID-19. The AAP further stated just at the end of this past week that unlike the flu, children do not seem to amplify the outbreak of COVID-19 for whatever reason. I think that's the grace of God. They've also affirmed the value of state and local and health governing authorities working with local and regional schools in the plans to reopen school. We have found a great partnership, the San Antonio Health Department has been unbelievable as we've unpacked and started with as many as 200 kids on campus going back to April when we opened for essential business families. And the most current research by the CDC, among others, also has found that while children can be affected or infected with COVID-19, relatively low, fractionally low numbers of children are contracting COVID or even exhibiting symptoms. In fact, it was recently reported that out of the 1.1 million children in the state of Texas licensed child care centers, which included our own center here on campus during the pandemic, only 300 children statewide had been tested positive for COVID-19, and many of those did not exhibit any symptoms. The chances of those children contracting COVID-19 was actually less than 0.0027% probability. That's 27 10,000ths of a chance of picking up COVID in the state of Texas in our licensed child care centers, which was a great forerunner for the plans that the state is using in broadening the reopening of schools in Texas this fall. This was in schools with actually much less of a comprehensive and proactive plan than we'll be presenting to you today. Additionally, the governor of the state of Texas has allowed schools to reopen with plans informed by health officials. Texas schools will reopen with precautions, and our school will reopen with a forward-thinking plan developed by some of the leading private schools in collaboration together with our school called Safe Smart Schools. And the Safe Smart School plan is actually guided by a biblical mandate or idea, a principle from Scripture that really screams loud and proud today that while we each have responsibility to care for ourselves, and that will be a major focus for your kids and each of the teachers to follow all these protocols in caring for themselves, but we must go also to the greatest lengths to show concern for others. You know, that sounds like the golden rule, doesn't it? Well, you know, to be successful in this plan, the exceptional school reopening plan that we're presenting will require maximum effort and attention from all of us, teachers, students, all of our staff, and from you, Mom and Dad. We have reinvented the way we're doing school on campus to safely reopen our school. While it's impossible to eliminate every risk in almost any area of life, including this one, we believe that you will find calm confidence in this Safe Smart School plan. And I'll be presenting to you 12 guiding Safe Smart Schools overarching principles, health and safety principles that guided the development of over 120 action items that will be applied here on a daily basis, many of them very visible and others behind the scene. You will not see, but they will be applied in a way to to be overly protective and to be proactive in applying this Safe Smart School plan. So those principles include those 12 guiding principles include some of the following. First, limited access to campus to students and staffs only. And student and staff only will be here. Largely speaking, there'll be a few exceptions, but not really many to any. Parents, we're going to be even more engaged with you. You say, well, how am I going to talk to anybody? Well, you'll have the opportunity through online virtual meetings and conferences and all manner of other ways that we will work this out for you. Yes, kindergarten and first grade moms, the first week or two will have the ability not to go into a classroom, but to walk their kids in. There's a common senseness to this. Everybody will be masked up and we'll be good. We'll work through that. We know the needs of the little children, and we're taking all of that into account. There's a strength in this program, but there's also a reasonableness to the needs of the children. The younger you go, the more so. Second, there'll be minimized contact of students from beyond the kids in their classroom as they move about the school with the larger student body. The more movement of teachers is more likely than movement of kids from one place to another. And this is going to be very helpful. Some of you have read about the concept of cohorts, where you keep a group of kids together and they stay together through the day, and that's an essential part of our plan. Number 3, we're reorganizing student schedules, the way we manage classrooms, and hallway movement to minimize student physical contact with each other. We won't actually be using our lockers 5th to 12th grade, because kids aren't going to be piled up onto each other, sticking their noses in their lockers and each other's. In fact, everyone moving up and down the halls will be masked up when they're going from one place to another. But we have a plan that's going to work in a tremendous way. The school will be directing each family to a tub that you can purchase, which will replace a locker 5th to 12th grade. And the kids will have a personal space area in rooms that are maximized in terms of whatever the maximum social distancing is in a classroom. They'll have their tub and their personal space there, and we'll refer more to that in the plan as you read it. 4, we'll be restructuring chapel and school assemblies with an on-campus virtual experience. There will likely be, when Mr. Pinkston's doing elementary chapel as an example, a class or two socially distanced in a very large room separated from each other, a little mini live audience, but most of the classes will be watching with their teachers online. Worship will be alive and real. There'll be some times when, for instance, again in elementary, I'll be stepping in and just doing a live chapel in a classroom, face to face with the love bugs, and just getting up close and personal. And I'll be taking numbers of days to just get around the campus to do that from time to time. And then assemblies, the same thing. They'll be largely virtual. The 5th thing on these guiding principles is mandatory temperature checks at home. You might want to hear this, because this will be one of the 2 most important protocols. Every child gets their temperature checked at home. As they come in the entrance, we do not want to, when we're checking temperatures, find a kid with a fever. And so it is important that you make a personal commitment. There'll be a covenant that you and I, the school and parents, will sign to say that we agree to all these protocols and we'll do our part. It's going to be, a minute and a half inconvenient if you have 3 kids to take their temperatures in the morning. But I'm telling you, this is a very important part of the cutting edge plan that we're getting. Never should a kid get to school and have a fever because their fever's been checked at home. We'll be checking temperatures at the door, in the lunchroom, at the noon hour. When kids go to athletics, there will be an overemphasis on finding anyone fast with a fever. It should happen at home first. Did I sound a little firm on that? You'll get over it. Okay, and then number 6, the use of masks will be comprehensive across the campus, when kids come into the campus, when they leave the campus, when they're moving about the campus. Kids 10 and under in their classrooms will not be required to wear a mask, but may wear a mask all day long if they so choose. And the older kids, if you're in your cohort and without a teacher who has a need for everyone in the class because they're at risk or vulnerable in terms of their age or their health condition, that would be an example of preferring someone above ourselves, taking care of some of our sweet older teacher. Mr. Pinkston's getting close to that age. And can I just say, when you're in your cohort, there may be times when you can take your mask off during the lecture when you're sitting by the 1 or 2 people that you'll largely be spending all day with. Number 8, additional staff have been hired. A full-time porter during the day that does nothing but go around and clean restrooms continuously, wipe door handles at the entrances and exits of not only the buildings, but the doors to the classroom, handrails. All the high-touch areas will be maintained and sanitized throughout the day. Also, as you know, there's an antimicrobial treatment that's already been applied on campus, will be reapplied. It lasts for 3 months and kills germs 24/7 on all surfaces in all rooms across the campus. It's amazingly safe product. It is used in daycare centers. It's used in hospitals and restaurants, and a lot of research has been done. And if you want further information about that, it's available in each of the offices. Number 9, the extensive safety and sanitation protocols have been elevated for the big 3, restrooms, lunchrooms, and athletics. And athletics will look a little different. They're not going to be all smashed up so much and in and out of lockers in the locker rooms, but there'll be a plan that will work and it will be safe, and there'll be significantly elevated protocols for those 3 areas. Kids will be sitting in assigned seats with their cohort, with the group of kids from their main class at lunch, and they will not be commingling with the larger student body. Number 10 is the family safety protocols. I mentioned temperature checks, the 6 questions that you'll ask yourself on a daily basis before coming to campus that will become intuitive to you. And we've been using these since we reopened the school in the early part of April, and they keep the campus safe when all of us respond and react to those 6 safety questions. Number 11, if a student has symptoms on the CDC list, they must not come to school at any time until they are returning with a doctor's note approving they're coming back to school, or a COVID-19 negative result. if that was appropriate. Number 12, clear guidelines and a campus response plan on the outlying chance that a student or a staff member were to contact or contract coronavirus. There are a list of about 8 protocols that immediately go into effect should that happen on the campus in terms of how that whole situation is addressed and the circumstance arrested. So though these plans, these 12 guiding principles and the 120 action steps, which are in the packet that came with this email accompanying this video, this expansive, comprehensive steps, it will probably take you 15 or 20 minutes to take it all in. But they will, in spite of the comprehensive nature of these plans, touching almost every aspect of the life of the school, we actually believe they're going to restore a lot of the normalcy that our children and teens so desperately need. And so our reopening plan will continue to be evaluated week by week and month by month as we go through the year with the best medical guidance and data from the experts that I previously mentioned. Now, for this plan to work in protecting our students and staff, we're going to require students and employees to remain home, them restating, but just in summary, any flu-like symptoms, any COVID-19 screening symptoms, or if they were exposed, and there's a definition in your document of what exposed means to someone who was symptomatic or tested positive with COVID-19. Parents will be receiving at parent orientation a health screening agreement, and we'll all, staff, parents, and older students will all sign off on that we're working together to take care of ourselves, but also to look out at the interest of others. So we're following the Texas Education Agency's recommendation to designate a staff person who will run point and be responsible for responding to concerns and clearly communicating consistently with our school family. Our new Director of Campus Operations, Dr. Jim Bazar, who has been a leader on our campus since 1993, a trusted voice here, will head up this group and play this role alongside the elementary and secondary principals, the early childhood director, and our school nurse. When we return to campus in the fall, we'll apply all of these safety guidelines, these overarching 12 principles and the 120 action steps to safely educate your children. We're actually been practicing this plan, as I said earlier, since April, and so I think we're getting pretty good at it. And many more protocols to come and to be implemented as we get closer and closer to school starting. Additionally, during June and July, we've had actually almost 200 summer day camp kids on campus. And again, following our Safe Smart School action steps. And it's been very successful. So now a word for a moment to those families who might have an immune compromised family member or child at home who have contacted us about the possibility of an online option. There will be a Castle Hills online school for those few families that have expressed interest or will express interest in our Castle Hills online school. This online school will feature dedicated Christian teachers, and many of our campus faculty will also be serving as mentor teachers, helping bridge between the classes and the larger life of the school. The opportunity will be introduced to families at the 1st of August. As you can imagine, there's a lot of nuts and bolts into pulling together a major venture like starting an online school. But it's coming together, and registration and information sessions will all take place in the first 2 weeks of August. Early in August, you'll get a full view of this plan and program. There'll be opportunities to be involved in school life from a distance, chapels, accessing our guidance program, and other support will be included in the program, keeping you connected with your Christian school here at Castle Hills. Students must sign up by semester. There will be no weekly or monthly options on that. However, payments can be made on a monthly basis. That would just make sense for families. Now, we'll be looking forward to being together with you in the new school year. The quality of education that you've come to appreciate and expect from staff and teachers here will be stronger than ever. If you're on campus, there is an incredible number of surprises that we have for you coming back to school. Some additional changes in our staffing that are really going to elevate what we do missionally, educationally, and otherwise. If you're at home, it won't be like online school in the spring. It'll be a full day, a minimum of 5 to 7 classes, with instruction and seat work and homework and the rest. But it's going to be high quality and delivered right online to you, person to person, once the school year begins. We believe God has a great plan for each of our students' lives. This year has been very challenging in our nation, and we see that as spiritual opportunity to speak into their lives. We've seen race relations and struggles there. We've seen the COVID-19 epidemic, an economic crisis, riots in our streets. A lot of us, our head is spinning, but we'll be framing all of this from a biblical perspective and teaching kids how to live well in tough times. And I just want to share with you, it's an opportunity also for families, because we're doing overtime and reaching out to moms and dads in supporting you during these great and challenging days ahead. As a Christian school, we have a great opportunity to seed into the lives of boys and girls and teenagers spiritual growth and life preparation for the days in which we've come. It's been an honor to speak to you today. I'm sure you may have questions. I'm going to close on this. There is a survey that I need everyone to take. It will take about 45 seconds. You click one of 4 boxes, and if you want to leave a comment to 1 or 2 questions, you do that. It could take you less than 10 seconds, but for us to be successful, I want to confirm that everyone who is re-enrolled, I want you to confirm in that survey, will be here, continue to maintain and reserve our seat. It's just clicking one box to do that. If you're committing to the online school, that's just like, oh, that's just what we needed. Click a box. If you're interested but not sure in the online school, click a box. And that's about as simple as it is. A couple of places to ask questions or leave comments to make it easy for you to get to me and the rest of this wonderful staff putting this plan together. Listen, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you. May your greater days be before you, not behind you. And for all that we know from the track record of God in our lives together, the best is yet to come. God bless you real good.